The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Magic Bricks webinar, our endeavor to empower you with insights on the Indian real estate market performance and consumer sentiments on property prices in the next 6 months. The topic of today's session is buyers look for properties within rupees 40 to 60 lakh in the south. And our guest speaker today is E. Jayashree Kurup. She is the head content and research, Magic Bricks, and Dr. Venkatesh Panchapagesan. He is the associate professor with IIM Bangalore. Jayashree is involved with a number of global research initiatives and specializes in analyzing research data to provide usable solution to users. She also works with business in using industry dialogues with senior management in her domains of expertise to generate content solutions that keep audience and industry engaged. She has been a business journalist for over 2 decades with the Times of India, the Economic Times, and the Financial Express. She writes extensively on real estate and infrastructure, city management, information technology, HR and management. Venkatesh Panchapagesan has almost 20 years of experience in academia and in global financial services industry after finishing his PhD in finance from the University of Southern California. He has also worked with Goldman Sachs Asset Management in New York between 2005 and 2008, overseeing trading research for their quantitative hedge funds. He is certified in India as a chartered accountant and a cost accountant and holds a PGDM from IIM Calcutta. So, without further delay, I introduce you all to our guest speaker. Over to you, Jayashree.
Thank you, Aradhana. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Magic Bricks webinar. We're discussing the southern region with reference to the Prop Index and the Housing Sentiment Index. The Prop Index is a tool that provides detailed information on price movement, supply, and user demand for multi-story apartments and single floors listed across cities. It covers a national property index trend, a city property index, listed price monitor, a rent monitor, an yield meter, top preferred localities city-wise, demand and supply analytics, locality price ranges, and real estate news. Let's quickly go to each city. In Chennai, the Chennai City Index witnessed a rise of 3%. Coimbatore rose by 1%. Bangalore and Hyderabad city indices dropped by 1 to 2%. Property priced at 40 to 60 lakh witnessed the maximum demand across the southern region, across all these cities that we mentioned. 2 BHK units formed 50 to 60% of the demand, but the supply remained below the demand. Maximum gap of 16% between demand and supply was recorded in Coimbatore and Hyderabad. Apartments remain the preferred categories across the southern region with a demand of over 40% except in Coimbatore. Chennai, the city index rose by 3% and the listed price monitor by 4%. The suburban corridors of OMR, ECR, GST and the Ponnamalli offered options across luxury, mid-segment and affordable categories, which really means that the suburban corridors accounted for most of the stock. South Chennai continued to be the preferred zone with almost 2/3 of the localities in the top 10 list in this zone. The city offered rental returns between 1.84 to 3.70%. This is one way of computing the value that you get out of your real estate investment. When you invest in buy a property, the regular rental returns ensures that you get a regular yield out of your investment. Demand for properties worth 60 lakh and above witnessed a rise of 1 to 2%. All other budget ranges recorded a drop or remained stable. Properties in the 40 to 60 lakh recorded the maximum demand in localities such as Medavakam, Palikarnai and Madipakam. Supply lagged demand by about 9%. Central localities such as Adayar, Tirvanmayur, Annanagar and Besant Nagar continue to offer premium properties worth 1 crore and above. Demand lagged supply in these areas. Let's go to Hyderabad, where the city index dropped by 2% and the listed price monitor remained unchanged. Hyderabad is, after the initial euphoria after the general election, Hyderabad has slipped into a lull and hasn't been a very active real estate market. Capital values dropped by 5% in different localities, pushing the city index down. Gachibowli, Miapur and Nizampet recorded the maximum stock in the city. Demand is also robust. Clearly, where the business hubs are, that's where the demand and supply remain even. Unlike capital values, rental values showed a positive trend. Over 60% localities recorded a rise of 1 to 10% in rental values. When the consumer does not buy, the rental markets are active. When the consumer starts buying, this rationalizes. Rupees 40 to 60 lakh category remained the most popular range with 35% of demand and 19% of supply. Localities in the west such as Kondapur, Kukatpalli and Miapur recorded the highest supply in the 40 to 60 lakh range. Remember, this is the in-demand range category, so this makes a lot of sense here. 75% of the total localities tracked recorded over 3% annual rental yield, which is a lot of, a very, very good yield. In Bangalore, the city index dropped by 1%. Bangalore dropping by 1% is news because it has been a very steadily performing real estate market. The price monitor witnessed no change. The 3 BHK and above category recorded an oversupply of 7%. 1 and 2 BHK units were undersupplied by 5 to 9%. As in most Indian cities, the premium categories and the larger units are the ones that where you find supply, but the demand seems to be concentrated in the more affordable and smaller categories. Localities such as Whitefield, Electronic City and Sarjapur remain the preferred localities due to their proximity to IT hubs, improved connectivity, wide roads and the outer ring roads. The 40 to 60 lakh and 60 lakh to 1 crore combined posted a combined demand of 62%. Supply at 49% was concentrated in Sarjapur Road, Vanegata Road, Whitefield and Hebal for these categories. 2 BHK remained the most preferred category with 57% of demand and 48% of supply. Again, the supply lags demand in the 2 BHK category. Afforded properties of up to rupees 20 lakh were available in Mysore Road, Todabalapur and Devanahalli, but largely in plotted development while the demand is for built-up. In Coimbatore, the city index rose by 1%, listed price monitor by 4%. Coimbatore is a new city that we have tracked this time, and the trends are quite interesting. The change in capital values varied from -8 to +6%, and the rental markets range between -2 to 8%. Saravanampatti, Ganapati, Trichy Road and RS-Puram were the most active localities. The maximum demand for properties of rupees 40 to 70 lakh was at 40% and 20 to 40 lakh at 35%. Vadavalli, Saravanampatti, Avinashi Road, Tudaliyar and Pilamedu accounted for over 40% demand in rupees 20 to 70 lakh range. Unlike other cities, independent houses were the most preferred housing category with over 50% of demand. Blocks were the second most preferred with 29% demand. These are typical characteristics of small towns. Large cities, the demand switches to apartments, especially cities that are driven by IT and manufacturing, where the users are from other cities and don't have any allegiance to any specific categories of units or any typical localities in the city. So they would prefer to live in large format apartment complexes which are fully serviced and have all the facilities that they're looking for. The people from the city, especially in smaller cities, the demand has been for independent houses or for plots. So why is the prop index useful? The prop index is useful to both industry and consumers. The real estate developers can understand buyer preferences by property type, size, configuration, budget and locality. For government offices and ministries of urban development, it helps you assess the demand and supply gap and helps in real estate policy making. Construction organizations can forecast demand and supply at the region and locality levels using this data. For the consumers, it is very important to be enabled to take the right property decisions. This information endorses your home buying decisions. It helps you understand the localities and cities better. It helps you analyze the trends, and it gives you insight quarter on quarter how prices and property trends have moved at the locality levels. It also helps to improve your financial status, the return on investment data. If you have money, where should you invest it so that you get maximum return? Let me quickly go through the methodology. It is based on a listing of apartments and their capital and rental values on the website, magicbricks.com. Individual properties are aggregated into localities, weighted to the cities, and then to the national index. Weightage is based on supply of properties within the locality and the city. Magic Bricks has over 700,000 active properties posted by more than 140,000 active users in 300 cities and 10,000 localities. Till date, 12 cities have been covered, 620 plus localities. Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Kolkata, and Bangalore are the metros. Pune, Hyderabad, Ahmedabad, Coimbatore, Noida, Gurgaon, and Ghaziabad are the tier 1 cities. Capital and rental values are tracked quarterly. The yield on investment is given. Extensive user demand analytics, demand versus supply statistics. The top 10 preferred localities city-wise are showcased. Home in your budget. Real estate news snippets that helps you understand what has been the policy perspective. And this time, there is a very special feature. The Times property editors from different cities have given their perspective on the real estate markets in their city. Thank you so much for listening in. Aradhana, over to you.
Thank you, Jayashree, for this insightful presentation. I will quickly hand over this session to Uma. Uma, can you please take this forward?
Hello. Hi. Thank you, Aradhana. Thanks, Jayashree. This is Uma Sitaraman. I'm the lead researcher. I put out the Housing Sentiment Index on a quarterly basis from IIM Bangalore. So this is a joint report that we put out with Magic Bricks, wherein Magic Bricks conducts a survey of respondents, future home buyers, and their perceptions about the markets in general. And we look through the data, analyze the data, conduct a lot of analytics on demographics, analytics based on micro markets for about 10 cities, and then put out the quarterly report. I'll take you over the reworking of the report and share some interesting analytics with you. So what is the Housing Sentiment Index? It's the first scientific and sentiment index. So there has actually been no index at all that captures the sentiments of the Indian real estate markets before. And this is the first sentiment index that tries to capture what people think. So we do have other indexes in place which track property transactions. But there's nothing that tracks what happens before people actually get into the buying process and what they think about the markets and how it impacts consumer behavior. So this is the first attempt where we are trying to capture that behavior and try to kind of quantify it using an index. The methodology is diffusion index methodology, which is very widely accepted across the world to capture economic indicators. And its value ranges from 0 to 200, meaning if we come in with a value of 0, it means all the prospective home buyers think home prices are going to drop. And the value of 200 indicates all home buyers think property prices are going to increase. And 100 being the neutral, meaning there's half that think prices are going to go down, the other half thinks prices are going to go up. And there's two things that you should observe while looking at this Housing Sentiment Index. One is the actual level of the index for this quarter, both at the national level and also the city that you're interested in. And also the changes in the index quarter to quarter. So how has Hyderabad behaved in the last 1 year, last 1.5 years? How has Bangalore behaved? So that also gives you an indication of the micro and macroeconomic environment. I mean, things that do affect people's sentiments, things that do either pull down or buoy up the sentiments. And this coverage is currently being carried out for 10 cities across India. And for all 10 cities, we also have a micro markets coverage. Moving on to the HSI highlights for this quarter. The aggregate buyer index fell marginally to 114. So it was at 118 last quarter fell to 114 this time. The seller HSI, which has always been way above the buyer HSI, and which is like understandably so, is at 159. Again, a very marginal drop when compared to the last quarter. And we have to remember that this is the first survey which happened post-election results. So we see sentiments consolidating across all regions, all cities sentiments consolidated, and most cities sentiments fell this time. It is more because the last quarter there was a huge upside. There was a huge swing in sentiment because the election results were just out and the majority government was just in. So we do see a natural consolidation across markets. Coming to the specific 3 cities that we will be talking about this time, sentiments in all 3 cities fell, some marginally, some not so marginally this quarter. Bangalore sentiment fell by 13%, and as Jayashree mentioned, this is the first time Bangalore is taking a hit in terms of both sentiment and the prop index, especially sentiment index for the last 1 year. Bangalore has only witnessed a positive upward movement, and it was the first city with the highest sentiment, but not so this quarter. Sentiment fell by 13% to 124 this quarter. Some of it can be attributed to there is a lot of inventory out there, and people are taking their time to buy. They want to wait and see where the markets are really going. That is one thing. The other thing that did affect Bangalore markets is the guidance value increase. The news just came out just before the survey, so that was also another dampener because they increase anywhere between 5 to 20% all across the city. But when guidance value increases, people end up paying more in terms of stamp duty and registration, and that kind of brings sentiment down. Chennai witnessed a very marginal drop of 1%, nothing major. Hyderabad has always been volatile, so there have been wild swings on either direction due to this Telangana issue that's been going on for the past 1 year. So if you look at the last 4 quarters, it's been swinging either up or down 10 to 12%. So we still need to wait and see where Hyderabad actually settles down in terms of sentiment. Moving on to the next slide, just to show you some analytics that we work on, and this is on a national level. So what we do, we gather a lot of questions in terms of what people earn and what is the type of property they look at. I mean, what is the range of properties they are looking at, and what kind of property do they prefer? Do they prefer flats over apartments or land, and what profession are they in, so on. And then we try to analyze and check for patterns, in terms of behavior and in sentiment. So coming to the HSI by price range, so this graph just shows you the sentiment index by price range. 50% of respondents are looking for property below rupee 40 lakhs across India, and out of that an average of 90% are looking for property below 20 lakhs. And this means a lot. It means that there is a huge number out there looking for affordable housing properties that are priced low, that's 20 to 40 lakhs, so on. So this is something that needs to be kept in mind both by the governments, the developers, and all the stakeholders in this industry, because unless we meet this demand, we are only going to face a situation where there's going to be more unsold inventory. Because I think a lot of properties now are high-range properties, whereas there's more people looking at low-end properties. The HSI for properties above rupees 1 crore decreased by 4%, but that's again a very small percentage of the population. And the ones above 5 crore, which is even smaller percentage, dipped to 80, which is very low. But so the higher-end properties took a hit this time. In Gurgaon, 25% are looking for property above rupees 1 crore. So Gurgaon is the city where maximum number of people are looking for properties above 1 crore. And HSI for this group fell by 6%. Whereas in Calcutta, that's the other end of the spectrum, where 35% of respondents are looking for property which is below rupees 20 lakhs, and the sentiment there is very positive. 45% of those who want to buy property above rupees 1 crore want to buy within the next 6 months, while 39% are looking to buy within 20 lakhs, and they want to buy within the next 6 months again. So there is a major proportion of people who actually want to make a purchase quickly and decide within the next 6 months, which is a good sign. Moving on to city-specific analysis and coming to Bangalore. 35% of respondents are from South Bangalore, and South Bangalore witnessed a 19% drop in HSI. Now, South Bangalore is where all the action is, so a lot of infrastructure development, a lot of IT companies located here, which kind of draws people to invest in South Bangalore. So the sentiment coming down there is not a good sign, but again, this could mostly be due to the consolidation effect, because the last time sentiments jumped quite high. So this comes mostly from the consolidation effect, and there is some amount of negative dampener from the guidance value news. 25% are from East and Southeast Bangalore, and that also witnessed a 14% drop. And Bangalore North also is a major development hub, and comprising of 28% of respondents, witnessed a drop of 4% in HSI. HSI for those who are planning to buy property as an investment is 133, while those who are planning to buy as a residence, it's 122. Now, this is again a trend we have seen across all cities, where if people are planning to buy as an investment, then their sentiment always happens to be higher than those who are planning it for a residential as a residence, so they go in and reside on their own. 51% prefer flats. So in Bangalore, this percentage is pretty low. Though Bangalore is also moving towards flat culture now, the 51% people preferring flats still shows that Bangalore is predominantly more into individual houses, villas, but the flats are predominantly increasing over time. 24% prefer to invest in land, and remaining 25% prefer villas. 23% of those who already live in their own house are looking to buy, while 68% of respondents currently live in rented accommodation, and their HSI is 119. So 68% living in rented accommodation is a good sign, because we have a lot of renters in the market who ideally will look to move and quickly move into their own property. 39% of respondents belong to the IT sector. Now again, IT sector being the dominant sector, there is a huge percentage in Bangalore. 15% are self-employed, and another 8% are from the manufacturing sector. Coming to Chennai, 67% of respondents are from South Chennai, assuming a major portion that's concentrated in South Chennai, while 9% are from North Chennai, which witnessed a 26% increase in sentiment. 30 to 39-year-olds comprise 40% of the respondent population, and this is followed by 40 to 49-year-olds. 9% of respondents are female, and HSI for women witnessed a 19% drop quarter over quarter. So women in general tended to be a lot more optimistic than men. For whatever reason, they were a lot more optimistic, but this kind of dipped this time. HSI for those who are planning to buy property as an investment is 152. Again, in Chennai also it's the same trend, whereas those who are looking to buy as a residence, it's 116. 29% prefer flats, and 39% prefer villas, and 23% prefer to invest in land. 34% of those who live in their own house in Chennai are looking to buy, while 52% are in rented accommodation right now. So Chennai on the whole has been a pretty steady market with positive HSI over the last 1 year, with no major volatility, no major changes either ways. Moving on to Hyderabad. 36% of respondents are from Central Hyderabad, and Central Hyderabad witnessed a major decrease, 27% decrease, and HSI is below 100 at 97 this time. 25% are from South Hyderabad, which witnesses 17% decrease in HSI. North Hyderabad witnessed an increase of 5% in HSI. HSI for those who are planning to buy property as an investment is again 108 when compared to those who plan as a residence, 103. In Hyderabad, 42% prefer flats, while 35% prefer villas. And 23% here who already live in their own house are looking to buy. Again here, 64% are currently living in rented accommodation. So throughout the country, the ones who are actually living in rented accommodation is definitely above 55%. 36% of respondents belong to the IT sector. Now again here, IT forms a major group within Hyderabad too. And they are neutral, right? In Hyderabad, the IT sector is neutral about property, whereas again, self-employed also seem to be neutral about property prices. The sampling technique itself, we conduct an online survey across 10 cities. We cover 10 cities currently, There's a standard questionnaire that's mailed out to all respondents, and it basically covers three broad areas. One is demographics, meaning the age and salary, etc. And then the property preferences in terms of the type of property, the range, property range, so on. And then the micro markets in terms of where within the city people are looking to buy or would like to invest in. And respondents assess relative market conditions based on common knowledge. And this price expectation is for about the next 6 months. So on the average, the people are expecting the HSI that you are looking at is what people are expecting in the next 6 months. And on the average, this time people are ready to wait a little over 9 months to actually make their decision, property decision. Summarizing the HSI for the three cities, all three cities were down this time in terms of sentiment, with Bangalore facing the most downward trend, 13%, followed by Hyderabad, 12%, and Chennai, which witnessed a very marginal change. And like I said before, out of the 10 cities, 8 cities witnessed a downward trend this time. And this was more because of the settling down of sentiments rather than the markets itself. Over to you, Aradhana.
Thank you, Uma. Thank you, Jayashree, for this insightful inputs into the market. I would now request you to take the questions and also read out the questions and their answers so that all our users may listen to your insights. Jayashree, are you able to see the questions coming into you?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Aradhana. Let's quickly get on to the questions. Let me take the first question. Where in Bangalore, within the city, can I get properties within the price range of 40 to 60 lakh? Asks Vinod Achanta. Vinod, according to the prop index, if you look at, go to propindex.magicbricks.com, you will be able to see the prop index for your city. Click on Bangalore, you'll be able to see there is one section called Home in your budget. Now, you've asked for 40 to 60 lakh. You will be able to get properties. There are options on Magic Bricks at Sarjapur Road, Whitefield, Marthahalli, and Hormavu. I hope this answers your question. Let me go to the next question. I have Deepak Ahlawat asking, I am from Bangalore. I would like to buy an individual house or a residential flat in or near Whitefield or Banaswadi. My budget is 45 to 50 lakh and I would prefer 2 to 3 BHK units. Deepak, while I'll give you a global answer, if you want the specifics, what you should do is go to magicbricks.com, click on there is a table out there where if you go to Bangalore and click the localities that you're looking for and put in your preferences of budget range 45 to 50 lakh and 2 to 3 BHK units, you'll get a large volume of options on Magic Bricks. From there you can make your choices. However, let me quickly tell you where you can get whether you can get in this budget. Just a minute. According to our data, Whitefield may be a little difficult for you. We are doing a search. As we speak, we're trying to do a search and get you some actual details of where you can get the properties. Do hold on. Your budget is too small for the places that you've mentioned. However, don't lose heart. What you should do is do neighboring localities, and you'll be able to get a lot of options in, you may not be able to stay in, say, Whitefield, but near Whitefield you should be able to get apartments. My data shows that you can actually get properties in Begur Road, in Chikkala Sandara, and Panathur. Do what I told you. Go to the site and look for options. The best way to do your own property search is to do your search yourself. After that, if you have any questions on any of these properties or the localities, do get back to us. I'd be happy to take your query. Uma, please feel free to jump in whenever you want to make a comment, okay?
Yes, sure.
Okay. Let's go to the next question. Hi, I'm an NRI and looking forward to invest in Bangalore property with a budget of 70 lakh. How to select a good location to buy property? Asks Imtiaz Ansari. Imtiaz, since you're not in the city, you'll have to do a lot of credible property research before you make your choice. As I said earlier, go to the website magicbricks.com and put in your requirements in the box there. You can look for Bangalore city, you can look for, give your budget, and you can also look for the types of property that you're looking for. Then you will be able to get a lot of options, and within these options you will be able to decide where to buy. If you're unfamiliar with the localities, since you're not staying in India, if you're unfamiliar with the localities or the developers, I suggest you go to advice.magicbricks.com. That is one place where we have given locality advice on what is the profile of the locality, what is the social infrastructure there, what is the locality like, and there are others, a host of others who have been rating these localities. This would help you to figure out what others think of the locality, and you will be able to figure out. Now, very quickly, since you're asking for a budget of 70 lakh, I could tell you that in the 60 lakh to 1 crore range, the properties that you can get according to Prop Index are on Sarjapur Road, Banerghatta Road, Sarjapur and Hebal. Do perform the search, and if you do that, if you search for properties in this locality, you are able to get at Lingarajapuram, Hennur Main Road, Electronic City, and so on. So there are options on the site. In North Bangalore as well as the Whitefield area, you should be able to, near the IT corridors, you should be able to get options. You have to figure out why you're buying the property. If you're buying for a regular rental return, go near the, where there is a good demand. Normally in Bangalore, the demand is led by the IT sector. So in North Bangalore, go close to the Manyata Tech Park. That's where you will find good rental demand. If you're looking in the Whitefield area, you should be looking at places like Electronic City, where you should be able to get options. Electronic City price. Let me go to the next question. There is Nalin Khanna, who has said, can you tell me the property trends of the residential property in Kochi? Now, in Kerala, Kerala is a peculiar market. You can't determine that this city ended here and the next city began. So if you look at the Kochi market, there is a lot of between the airport, that is Nedumbusheri, and Kochi proper, there are lots of places where you can get properties. You can look for Alua, you can look for Edapalli, various localities within the Kochi area, Kochi zone, where you should be able to get property. There you can get residential properties and apartments. If you are an NRI or non-resident from Kochi, my suggestion is please go for an apartment, because the apartments are managed by the developers, whereas if you buy a residential plot, property in Kerala requires high maintenance, because it is, especially Kochi is on the near the sea. So you will have problems of corrosion. You will have to keep the properties, it should be leaf free so that there is no waterlogging and so on. So an apartment is much easier to manage than a residential house. Both these categories are available in Kochi. There is a question about Electronic City. Somebody has said urban estates. He has left the discussion, but he has asked for apartment price trends from Electronic City. In Electronic City, it's 3,000 to about 4,000 rupees per square foot. There has been a slight negative change in Electronic City, but 1% rise here or there does not rise or drop here or there means that the market is more or less stable, not that it has dropped or anything like that. When you look at the rental markets, in Electronic City, you are able to get rental returns of about 12,000 to 15,500 per month. I hope that answers your query. Let me quickly get on to the next question. There's Bobby Vinod who's asked, what should I check before investing in a plot? There are a host of things that you have to look for when investing in a plot. First of all, buy from a developer. When a developer is selling you a plot, there is an assurance that the plot is built on developed land. If a small local owner starts selling plots, the development process is not assured, and therefore it may not remain livable. The other thing is that when you buy plots, do buy from within safe communities, because plots are very difficult to manage. If you are not on the locality, on the site, and if somebody encroaches on your property or a part of your property, there is very little that you would be able to do to prevent this, unless you start getting it, make a boundary wall, keep checking that everything is in order and so on. Therefore, it's always easier to buy a built-up property rather than a plotted development if you want to hold it for the long term. Having said which, in the long term, plots give you a better return, but it also requires you to be very, very vigilant. Please, kind of tally the pros and cons, and then decide whether you want to buy a plot. Bobby, if you go to the content.magicbricks.com and you search on what to do while buying land, we have actually got articles there which will give you checklists on what are the things that you should look for when you are buying land. That may be of use to you. I've got Urban Estates asking, need to know the information on South Bangalore around Electronic City Phase 1 for apartments and Jigani Anekal Main Road for plots. I have already addressed Electronic City a little earlier. We will get back to you with some more information. If you'll just hold on, we are, as we speak, we are doing a assessment of what is available on the website, so that we can tell you what is available. At Jigani, you can get residential plots. There are many options of residential plots. You can get these plots, maybe a 1200 square feet plot you could get between 17 to 18 lakh, and a 2200 square yard plot you could get at, a square foot plot you can get at 32.9 lakh. There are lots of options here, so do go to the website. Like I told you, go to the website, go to Bangalore, put in your locality and look for the property that you want. You should be able to get a lot of options here. I hope I've been able to help you. Where do you see Hyderabad headed in the next 6 months? Asks Vinod Achanta. Vinod, I am very positive about the Hyderabad market. Hyderabad has had its share of problems. It was one of the best real estate markets before the Telangana problems surfaced. And once the Telangana problems came up, the markets of Hyderabad did tank. But at this point of time, what you're looking at is, there was a euphoria when the Hyderabad markets posted some positive property trends. But now it is a far more stable market where the consumer is looking around to see what should I buy, where should I buy, why should I buy, and so on. My response to these queries will be very simple. Hyderabad fundamentals are very, very strong. Despite the fact that the state has been divided into two, and Hyderabad is the capital of Telangana, and there will be a capital of Andhra Pradesh in the Vijayawada region, Hyderabad's value to the corporate user will not come down. Clearly, if you look at all the existing users of corporate users of Hyderabad, they have expanded which is a clear indication that they do not intend to exit the city. They have continued confidence in doing business in Hyderabad. The minute corporate confidence is there, there will be residential demand, because as the corporates grow their business in the city, there will be more jobs, more demand for rental housing, more demand for ready-built housing, and the fact that there is a lot of stock in the Hyderabad market currently, it's a good time to enter and buy the property that you're looking for. And you would be able to get it in all categories and across different ranges. However, also remember that when you wait, because the markets have been slow, the number of launches of new projects has also been slow. So while there is a lot of development happening in the Hyderabad market, if you wait for too long and you miss the bus as far as ready-built property is concerned, it will take a while before more ready-built property hits the market. You will have to invest early in the cycle, and you'll have to wait till the markets are ready for the development. How is the market in South Bangalore? South Bangalore, again, it's a market with strong fundamentals. There is a strong IT corridor there. IT demand never dries up in Bangalore, as you know, because Bangalore is driven by the IT business. Now, one of the things that I would like to tell you is that South Bangalore has all types of properties. If you look at very, very premium high-end properties, Whitefield has it. If you look at the more affordable properties and plots, you can go to Electronic City. You have all categories of Marthahalli. You've got in Koramangala, you will be able to get a lot of it's an active real estate market. So when you look at the Hyderabad market, there are lots of options for you. In South Bangalore, in the Koramangala HSR layout, you will get a lot of options of residential properties here, and you should be able to look at it. When you ask how is the market, it's very difficult to tell you how is the market. Please be more specific on what you're looking for, and we should be able to help you. Urban Estates has asked, is it reasonable to invest in Electronic City around 70 lakhs budget, depending upon the quality of the apartment project? Yes, I think so. In the 70 lakhs budget, you would be able to get a property in Bangalore, and the quality of the apartment is something that you have to check. We have another question from Kochi, Nalin Khanna, who has asked, he wants to invest in Kochi, which is now being considered as a smart city. What is the investment sentiment in the city? The city is not, the sentiment in the city is more or less stable. There is, it's not extremely active, but neither is any market in the country right now. But there is a lot of stock in the market, so you should be able to find if you know what you're looking for. And being considered for smart city is a good idea, because then you will be able to get a city, a working city, which is based on technology initiatives as well as a lot of governance initiatives. There is Nilesh Anantanarayanan, who has said, I want to invest by the 4th quarter of 2015 in Chennai. What are the prominent localities to invest for long-term 5 to 6 years with a budget of 40 to 60 lakhs in Chennai? In 40 to 60 lakhs, going by the current trends, you would be able to buy in Medavakkam, Pallikarnai, Madhipakkam, Porur and Selayur. Having said that, you're seeking to enter the market in the 4th quarter of 2015. By that time, there is no guarantee that the prices will hold, because the market has already been inactive for a long time. We expect another 4 to 6 months at the most. So by the middle of 2015, if the governance initiatives kick off and if the Modi government's promise of good governance takes off, markets may start rising. And if that happens, you would have missed the low pricing that is prevalent currently. Uma, you want to comment on the sentiment in Chennai? Venki, would you like to comment on the sentiment in Chennai?
Yeah, actually, is Uma there? Okay, I think she dropped out. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. This is Venki Panchmikesan. I'm a professor in MA in Bangalore. I just joined. So generally, the sentiment across the board has been marginally lower than what we saw earlier. So specifically in Chennai, it's also followed the same trend. So we are seeing very mild drop. I wouldn't even call it a drop. It's almost flat, but it's still high. So we have a HSI of 123. That means that out of 200 buyers, potential buyers, 123 people expect prices to rise. So that's sort of the interpretation of this index. So which means people are expecting prices to rise in Chennai. This is 6 months out, so clearly there are more bullish consumers out there, but we have not seen any change relative to the previous quarter. So pretty much that bullishness has remained. There are major political uncertainties in the state, so I don't know how that would manifest, because I think this particular quarter's results came pretty much around the time when all the Jayalalitha issues were going on. So there could be some uncertainties there, but I think in general people expect prices to rise.
Right. Let's go on to the next query. Thank you. Let's go on to the next query. We have Yogesh Sakunya, who has said, I'm retiring, nearing my retirement, looking forward to invest in Bangalore residential with a budget of 40 to 60 lakh. Will it be an income producing investment for me post-retirement? I'm assuming from your question, Yogesh, that you want to invest so that you get a regular rental return and not because you're looking for, looking to stay in that area. In the 40 to 60 lakh ranges, in Bangalore, you will be currently able to get Sarjapur Road, Whitefield, Marthahalli and Hormavu. In this range, if you look at the rental returns, Whitefield you can get 14,500 to 18,500 as rental returns. In Sarjapur Road, you will be able to get rental returns of 15,500 to 19,500. Marthahalli, 16,000 to 19,500. And in Electronic City, about 12,000 to 15,500. I hope I've been able to answer your query. You can get rental returns. If in 40 to 60 lakh, if you invest, you should be able to get between 12,000 to about 18,000 rupees per month. Amit Gopalakrishnan has asked, which localities in Hyderabad offer me maximum capital appreciation? Right now, capital appreciation has not happened for a while, Amit, so it would be difficult to tell you. But what I can tell you is that Hyderabad is a city which is driven by IT. And in this IT corridor, you should be able to invest in places around the IT corridor for maximum returns. And in Hyderabad, look for at least 4 to 5 years horizon. You can enter the market because it is the cheapest residential real estate in the country among all the major cities, and it also has a strong corporate driver. You can invest in, you are getting about a 4% return, which is the highest you can get in out of residential returns, 4 to 5% at Nalagandla and ECIL, as well as High Tech City. These are really good returns. And if you're looking at returns, do go to the propindex.magicbricks.com, go to the Hyderabad section and check out what we call the yield meter. It really means that when you invest in a certain area, compared to the rental returns, what is the yield that you, residential yield that you make out of this property. I have Avi Garkipati asking, I'm looking to buy a ready-to-move 2 BHK apartment in Gachibowli in a good gated community. I have come across Hill Ridge that has good open space and suits the kind of surroundings I have been looking for. However, people have advised me that the construction is very poor and this community is very old and might have a lot of issues. I want to ask if it will be a good idea to buy an old property like what is available. The owner is quoting 55 lakh for 1280 square feet, 2 BHK flat. Is this a fair price as well? Let me break your question into many parts. Should you buy an old property that is in, not in very good quality, and whether that can give you a good return? When you buy an old property, whatever the price that you have bought, please factor in that you will have to spend another 5, 10, 15 lakh depending on the amount of issues in that property to make that into a livable, hassle-free property. World over, people do buy old properties because they are cheaper. They factor in the renovation cost and you will be able to be able to stay comfortably. The positive is that you have seen that the open space is good and suits the kind of surroundings that you're looking for, which means that the external environment is good. If you can upgrade your property well, you should be comfortable there. If the quality of construction is poor, however, a rider I'll put here is, if it was that the walls are peeling and you need to fix that, those are things that you can do. But if there are serious plumbing issues or there are serious engineering issues, I would say you have to think twice before buying that property. Now, what you want to know is, if 55 lakh a good price for a 1280 square feet 2 BHK apartment in this locality? On an average, the prices in this locality is roughly in the range of 4,000 to 5,000 rupees per square foot. Maybe there are a few properties that are that come at about 3,500 and 3,550 to 4,650 is the average range, and there are a lot of apartments that are even above 4,600. You're getting at a much lower rate. Also, so as far as the price is concerned, this is a fair price, but factor in the extras that you have to put to make your house livable. Then make your choice. There is G. Vasant who says, do you think we should focus more on affordability? Can you tell me areas in Hyderabad which are below 20 lakh? Is there a dominant property type in this category? Now, Vasant, affordability, there is an affordable band in every category of property. If you're looking at below 20 lakh, be very clear why you're looking for that. If it is that you have about a little surplus money and you don't want to stretch yourself, but you do want to get the best out of the real estate market, yes, please go ahead and invest 20 lakh. In the Hyderabad market, you do have options as well. In the up to 20 lakh range, you can get in Adibatla, Shadnagar, Shamshabad, DB Nagar and Kothur. These are largely plots, but when you buy plots, like I said earlier, please consider that you should buy from a good developer, you should be able to ensure the safety of your plot, and you should be able to manage it. You can get a few 1 BHK units in places like Pragati Nagar in Musapet. You can get in Nagaram, you can get a 2 BHK in this budget. Do go to Magic Bricks and check out what is available there. You'll be able to get a lot of options. Urban Estates has asked, what is the appreciation in the next 5 years if we invest in plots at Nandi Hills Road or Devanahalli location? In 5 years, plots do give you a good return. But I can use the previous quarters to tell you that there has been a 16 to 36% rise in values, but that depends on where you're buying the plot. And like I said earlier, you have to be very careful when you invest in plots in peripheral areas at Nandi Hills or Devanahalli, because these may not be by developed land, and you are more or less you know, you may find that you have been stuck with agricultural plots and not plots that are where the change of land use has already been effected. Also check out the khata issues. You should not be stuck in those in the future. I've got G. Vasant. We will now take the last query of the afternoon as we are nearing the end of our webinar. Neelish Anantanarayanan has asked, which seems a better option, lands to invest in Chennai after 2015? NH4, Chennai Bangalore Highway, GST, OMR or ECR? Neelish, I would look at it like this. GST, OMR and ECR, the investment potential is already there. When you look at the Chennai-Bangalore highway, you're looking at investing in areas that are not within the municipal limits, and these are properties that probably are sold by unstructured market forces. It may not be developers who are launching it. Now, Bangalore-Chennai highway has a lot of potential because the government has clearly announced its intent to develop this as an industrial corridor, and it may be some of the smart cities of the future. So when you are looking at 2015 and later in 2015, the chances are that the government's policy would have played out much better then. So since you have a longer time frame to start investing, you should keep a watch on these corridors. ECR, GST and OMR are immediate options where there is already supply and there is already demand, but there is already a lot of leverage value taken out of the market. When you go into virgin areas, you will find that you have the advantage of investing early, but also it is a high risk investment and you should be careful about that. Venkatesh, anything to add there?
Not much. I think you've raised the key things, which is basically, even though there is a lot of demand, it's already reflected in the price. And so I think you have to weigh going into virgin areas versus established areas based on what is the likelihood. I think I would like people to look at external factors like the development of metros and things that might improve or increase demand later. And I think the metro itself, even though it is a very slow-moving project, could have a significant impact on prices across the board in Bangalore.
Right. I think with this we come to the end of our webinar today. Thank you, Venkatesh. Over to you, Aradhana.
And I'm really thankful to our guest speakers today for conducting this informative webinar with us. It was indeed a great session. I would also like to thank all our participants for their support in making this webinar a success. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you, Jayashree. Thank you, Uma. Thank you, Mr. Panchpagesan, for taking the time out and having us. I hope you have a great day ahead.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Aradhana.
Thank you. We will close now. Bye-bye.
Bye.